Have you ever truly wondered what happens when you simply vanish from someone's life? I'm not talking about just pulling back a little, but completely disappearing. No texts, no calls, no contact whatsoever. What would they really feel when you're gone? In today's world, it's all too easy for people to take others for granted, isn't it? They get comfortable, assuming you'll always be there, always available. But what if we flipped the script? What if you disappeared? I promise you, their world might just fall apart. Welcome to what could be the most important video you will watch today. Especially if you've ever found yourself in a relationship or a situation where someone got far too comfortable treating you like an option. Today, we're diving deep into a powerful, often uncomfortable, concept, what they truly feel when you simply vanish from their life. We're going to explore 10 intense emotional stages they will inevitably cycle through when you disappear. And let me tell you, by the end of this video, you'll understand precisely why, sometimes, the most profoundly powerful thing you can do is to walk away and never, ever look back. If you're ready to rediscover your undeniable worth, if you're ready to make them miss you like they've never missed anyone before, then drop a comment below with the words, "I'm done being an option." Because by the end of this, you won't ever be one again. And trust me, you'll want to stay tuned until the very end. Because there's a bonus, 10th emotional stage they'll experience, one you definitely don't want to miss. If you're ready to permanently change the way they see you, watch this video until the very end. Now, let's get started. 1. The sting of rejection. This is where it all begins. They genuinely never expected you to vanish. Not truly. In their carefully constructed world, you were always going to be there. You were the one who consistently put in the effort, the one who meticulously made the plans, the one who simply cared. You were the unwavering person they could always rely on until you weren't. When you disappear, it's like a sudden, jarring impact, hitting them with a brick they never saw coming. You've undoubtedly heard the old saying, "You never know what you have until it's gone." Right, that's precisely what unfolds when you vanish. Let me make this crystal clear. When you strategically remove yourself from their life, it's not just about the physical absence. It's about pulling away every single thing that you represented, the comfort you provided, the validation you effortlessly offered, the constant availability they had grown so accustomed to. They feel profoundly rejected, but it's not a superficial, surface-level slight. No, this is a deep, intensely personal sting, because for the very first time, they realize they have absolutely no control over you. People rarely like to admit it, but when they know someone will always be reliably around, they start treating them like an emotional safety net. You become an option, never a priority. When you vanish, you snatch the comfort blanket, that safety net, right out from under them. And that's when the undeniable panic sets in. It's akin to free-falling, disoriented and without a lifeline. They genuinely believed they could take you for granted. And suddenly, they're left in a bewildered state, asking themselves, "How did I let this happen? How did I lose control?" The sting of rejection hits them with particular force when you've consistently been emotionally available. They took your love, your unwavering presence, as a given. They simply assumed you'd always be there, no matter what they did. Perhaps they even harbored the misguided thought that they were somehow doing you a favor by keeping you around. That, my friends, is the real irony. They thought they were tossing you crumbs. But in reality, you were the steadfast pillar holding the entire relationship together. Here's what you absolutely need to understand if you want them to feel this sting of rejection in its fullest intensity. You cannot, under any circumstances, give them any warning. Don't tell them you're leaving. Don't issue an ultimatum. And most definitely, do not beg for their attention. Just go, ghost them. When you disappear without explanation, it hits them harder, more profoundly, because they never saw it coming. It forces them to unflinchingly reflect on their own actions. But it also communicates, loud and clear, that you are definitively done being disrespected. When you walk away, truly don't look back. They will feel the rejection. And trust me, it's going to hit them in ways they never, ever expected. The person they thought they had complete control over, the one who always inexplicably stuck around no matter what, has just left the building. Let them deal with the chaotic aftermath. 2. The void of missing you. Here's where it gets truly interesting. After the initial sting of rejection begins to settle into their bones, they start to feel something else, an unsettling emptiness. They never thought they'd miss you, did they? In fact, they probably confidently convinced themselves that they wouldn't even care if you left. Oh, if they leave, I'll just move on, they probably thought. But what happens when you actually, truly disappear? They begin to feel the void. And it's not just any void. It's the kind of emptiness that persistently gnaws at them, relentlessly. They'll go through their day, performing the same mundane routines they've always done. But now, something crucial is unmistakably missing. That's when the chilling realization dawns on them. You were the one who quietly added meaning, vibrancy, and richness to their life. You consistently brought the energy, the warmth, the profound emotional stability. And now, without you, everything feels unmistakably bland, muted, lifeless. You see, when someone habitually takes you for granted, they simply assume you're just a part of the background, an easily replaceable fixture. They assume that the unique dynamic you shared is interchangeable. But here's the undeniable truth. No one else brings what you did to their life. They might desperately try to fill that growing void with someone new, or with fleeting distractions, but it's never, ever the same. You brought a singular, irreplaceable energy, one that effortlessly made their life easier, more enjoyable, and undeniably more fulfilling. That void only grows larger with every single passing day. Maybe they initially thought they could effortlessly distract themselves with someone new, or immerse themselves in friends. Perhaps they believed they could simply focus on work or throw themselves into new hobbies to get over you. But guess what? That void stubbornly remains, a constant, gnawing presence, forever reminding them of what they've irrevocably lost. It's a relentless torment, eating away at them, precisely because they never thought they'd feel this way about you. Here's the poignant irony. They didn't appreciate you when they had you. They genuinely believed they could do better, or perhaps they simply assumed you'd always be around. But the very second you leave, everything shifts dramatically. They start desperately missing the little things, the effortless conversations, the shared laughter, the unique way you made him feel truly understood. It's the small, everyday moments that they suddenly crave with an intense longing. But you're no longer there to provide them. When you disappear, make absolutely certain you do it in a way that leaves no conceivable room for them to find you. Block them on social media, delete their number, make it utterly impossible for them to casually check up on you, to even glimpse a trace of your life. The more they realize they cannot access you, the deeper and more profound that void becomes. Every single time they think of you and instinctively try to reach out, only to find no trace of your existence, the void will expand, consuming them further. Let them sit in that raw emptiness. And remember this, people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. Let them miss you, let them truly feel your absence. The more they feel that void, the more profoundly they'll begin to understand the immense value you brought to their life. 3. Overwhelming curiosity. By this point, they're knee-deep in the void, and an unsettling desperation begins to set in. Curiosity kicks in, and it's absolutely overwhelming. The single, burning question dominating their mind now is, where are they? What are they doing? Who are they with? They become utterly obsessed with knowing what's happening in your life, precisely because they no longer have any access to you. You've become an enigma, a captivating mystery, and nothing is more unsettling than not knowing what's going on with someone who was once so intimately close. In this hyper-connected age of social media, this stage is even more intensely agonizing for them. They'll be constantly checking your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, every conceivable platform, just to get the slightest glimpse of what you're up to. But here's the crucial kicker. You're giving them absolutely nothing. You've gone dark, no updates, no stories, no posts whatsoever, nothing, and it drives them absolutely insane. Why? Because human beings fundamentally abhor the unknown. The very moment you vanish, their mind begins to run wild with a torrent of unanswered questions. This is precisely where their deepest insecurities kick in. They start frantically wondering, have you moved on? Are you seeing someone else? Are you better off without me? They simply cannot handle not knowing, so they become fixated on desperately trying to find answers. This is often when they might even reach out to mutual friends. Subtly trying to extract information about you, they'll ask probing questions, but will be far too proud to ever openly admit how much they genuinely care. It's a truly sad sight, isn't it? Someone who once believed they didn't need you now going to such extraordinary lengths just to figure out what you're doing. The truth is, curiosity is an incredibly powerful emotion. When someone can't obtain the answers they so desperately crave, their mind instinctively fills in the gaps. They'll start vividly imagining you with someone else, imagining you happier, more fulfilled, more vibrant without them, and that thought relentlessly eats away at them day by day. It rapidly transforms from mere curiosity into a consuming obsession. And here's the absolute best part: the less they know, the more intensely they want to know. You become the one thing they simply cannot stop thinking about. To truly fuel their curiosity, you need to become a ghost, a phantom presence. Go completely off the grid. Don't post anything that could possibly give them even the slightest clue about your life. Let them wonder, let them stew in their own frantic thoughts, desperately trying to piece together what's happening with you. Every time they instinctively pick up their phone to check on you and find nothing but silence, it'll drive them closer and closer to the edge. You hold the power now, and their overwhelming curiosity is your biggest asset. Don't give them answers, give them unwavering silence. 4. Deep self-reflection. Now, we're truly entering dangerous territory for them. That is, this is where the profound self-reflection kicks in. And believe me, it's not a pretty sight. After days, or even weeks, of relentlessly wondering where you are and what you're doing, their gaze finally turns inward. They begin to ask themselves the truly hard, uncomfortable questions. Was I too distant? Was I too cold? Did I push them away? Did I mess this up beyond repair? The creeping, undeniable tendrils of regret start to twine around their hearts. And it's a bitter, bitter pill to swallow. Here's the harsh reality. People intrinsically dislike admitting when they've made mistakes. It's simply human nature, but when you disappear, you forcefully compel them to confront those mistakes head-on. Without you there to reassure them, to smooth things over, or to mitigate their guilt, they're left entirely alone to face their own difficult behavior. And it's anything but a fun experience. They start meticulously replaying every single interaction in their mind, questioning whether they could have done something, anything, differently. They vividly recall the countless times they ignored your texts, the instances they casually brushed off your feelings, the moments they made you feel like you were nothing more than an afterthought. And it hits them with devastating force, because deep down, they know they had a good thing going. But remember how we just discussed the powerful shift that happens when you disappear, forcing them into a deep dive of self-reflection. Well, what happens after they've truly faced their own actions? That internal reckoning leads directly to our next crucial stage. They took it for granted. Now, they're trapped. stuck with their own thoughts. And those thoughts, let me tell you, are brutal. This stage is especially potent because it's entirely internal. They can't blame you anymore. You're simply not around to argue with or to offer convenient excuses for their behavior. The only person they can hold accountable is themselves. And that's an incredibly tough pill to swallow. This self-reflection deepens with every passing day, and the more they reflect, the more acutely they realize just how profoundly they messed up. Guilt begins to build, a heavy, suffocating weight, and they start desperately wishing they could somehow rewind time and do things fundamentally differently. But, sadly for them, it's far too late for that now. During this critical stage, the absolute last thing you should do is reach out. Don't try to explain why you left or attempt to make them see the error of their ways. Let them figure it out entirely on their own. Self-reflection is most powerful when it springs organically from within. The more time they spend agonizingly reflecting, the more they'll realize that they, and only they, were the reason things went so terribly wrong. Let them sit with that guilt. It's a truly valuable, albeit painful, lesson they desperately need to learn. 5. The urge to pursue you. Now that they've spent a significant amount of time immersed in that uncomfortable self-reflection, something profound shifts inside them. They transition from merely questioning themselves to actively, intensely wanting you back. The tables, my friend, have definitively turned. You were once the one who consistently put in all the effort, who tirelessly cared, who relentlessly pursued. But now, without a shadow of a doubt, it's their turn. The urge to pursue you becomes overwhelming, consuming their every thought. They can't stop thinking about you. Can't stop the desperate desire to reach out. Can't stop wondering if it's too late to make things right. This is when you'll start receiving those seemingly innocuous, "I've been thinking about you" texts. They'll subtly like your old Instagram posts. Perhaps even drop a casual comment on something just to gauge your response. They might even send a late-night message after a few drinks, foolishly hoping to rekindle what they carelessly extinguished. Here's the crucial point. They're chasing you now. They've gone from taking you for granted to desperately, unequivocally wanting you back, and this is precisely where you hold all the power. The urge to pursue you is undoubtedly strong for them, but you don't need to respond. In fact, you absolutely shouldn't. Let them feel the raw desperation. Let them wonder if you've truly moved on. The more they pursue, the more acutely they'll realize that they've completely lost control of the situation. They no longer hold the upper hand. And that, believe me, drives them absolutely insane. When they start chasing, do not give in. The moment you respond, even with a brief message, the power immediately shifts back to them. You've worked far too hard to reclaim your worth, and now is not the time to carelessly give that away. Let them pursue you, let them expend their energy, but under no circumstances should you reward their efforts. Silence remains your strongest, most potent tool here. Let them feel the gnawing frustration of desperately wanting something they can no longer have access to. 6. The battle between relief and regret. When you first disappear, it's possible they might experience a brief, fleeting sense of relief. It's that initial, almost intoxicating feeling of freedom. They might tell themselves, "Finally, I don't have to deal with them anymore." And perhaps, for a moment, they even genuinely feel good about it. But here's the thing about that so-called freedom. It's a deceptive illusion. It feels exciting at first, undeniably, but it's utterly superficial and profoundly temporary. They might go out, hang with their friends, swipe right a few times on dating apps, and for a fleeting moment, they might actually believe everything's going to be perfectly okay. But as soon as they're truly alone, sitting in their quiet apartment, or aimlessly scrolling through their phone, that's when the relentless tide of regret begins to creep in. They start to agonizingly realize that this freedom without you is In fact, nothing but an echoing emptiness. They discover that the people they thought could easily replace you are merely surface-level distractions. Fleeting diversions. It's like drinking salt water when you're parched. It feels like a solution in the moment, but it only leaves them more dehydrated, more desperate, and ultimately, far more regretful. What's more, in today's world of casual dating and seemingly endless hookups, people often mistakenly believe that moving on will be as effortlessly easy as finding someone new. But it simply isn't. They quickly, painfully learn that you cannot truly replace someone who provided genuine emotional stability and a real, profound connection with some quick fix or a meaningless fling. And that, my friend, is the crushing realization that knocks them flat on their back. Let them experience this illusory freedom. Do not rush back in when they start feeling the pangs of regret. Let them sit in that desolate, empty space they foolishly thought would feel so liberating. Remember, the relief they initially feel is temporary, but your unwavering absence will haunt them in ways they never, ever expected. 7. The desire to play the game. Once regret has firmly settled in, a new emotion takes hold: panic. Now, they desperately want to regain control of the situation, but they have no idea how. So, what do? They try to play games. They start acting deliberately distant, attempting to make you jealous, posting carefully curated photos with other people, making it look as though they're incredibly happy and thriving without you. Perhaps they'll even post a cryptic status about moving on, or a selfie that's trying just a little too hard to project an air of nonchalance. It's all just one big, transparent attempt to reel you back in, to make you wonder what they're truly up to. But here's the beautiful truth: you're not playing anymore. You've outgrown these childish games. You've moved far beyond that immature behavior, and you likely don't even notice their petty attempts to provoke a reaction. You see, people often believe that manipulation through jealousy or playing hard to get will somehow make you chase after them. But what happens when you've completely stopped chasing? When you've genuinely grown tired of the game, they'll throw everything they have at you: subtle digs, passive-aggressive comments, exaggerated posts on social media, but none of it will work. Why? Because you're no longer giving them the attention they so desperately crave. You're not engaging in their childish tactics, and that, my friend, is what drives them absolutely mad. When they can no longer elicit a reaction from you, they lose complete control. They're left flailing, grasping desperately for something they can no longer manipulate. Do not engage. Ignore the cryptic posts. Do not react to the photos. Their game only works if you choose to play. The moment you stop responding, truly stop, is the precise moment they realize they've utterly lost their power over you. 8. The crushing weight of silence. Silence is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful tools you can wield when you disappear. The profound absence of your words, your texts, and your very presence speaks louder than anything you could possibly say. It leaves them with nothing but their own churning thoughts. And here's where it gets truly agonizing for them. Because the silence is so incredibly heavy, so utterly unbearable, they begin to question everything. They start painfully reminiscing about all the times they ignored your calls, all the moments they were too busy to reply to your texts. And now, ironically, they would do anything, absolutely anything, to hear from you. Silence is a form of exquisite torture for someone who is accustomed to having control. They fully expect you to reach out. They expect you to ask what's wrong or to beg for an explanation. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you simply vanish? And they're forced to sit there in the deafening quiet, desperately wondering if they've lost you for good. They simply cannot comprehend it. Every minute without a word from you feels like an eternity, and the longer it stretches on, the more profoundly anxious they become. We live in a world of constant communication, texts, calls, notifications, instant gratification. Everyone expects an immediate response. When you don't give them that, they spiral. They're used to the noise of a relationship, the back and forth, even the arguments. But silence is truly deafening. Let your silence be your power. Do not break it. Do not explain yourself. Let them feel the crushing weight of their own actions through the profound absence of your words. They'll soon realize that losing access to you is far, far worse than any argument you could have ever had. 9. The fear that brings them crawling back. Now, here's where it all comes crashing down for them. Fear. This is the part they never, ever thought would happen. The part where they're genuinely terrified of losing you for good. For a long time, they were comfortable. They genuinely believed you'd always be there. They took your presence completely for granted, thinking you were the one who'd stick around no matter what they did. But now, you're truly gone, and they're utterly terrified. The fear hits them harder than anything else they've experienced. They begin to think, what if I lost them permanently? What if they've genuinely moved on to someone else? The idea of you being with someone new consumes their mind. They'll picture you laughing with someone else, creating new memories with someone else, and the mere thought of it makes them sick to their stomach. They're no longer worried about their pride, their ego, or playing it cool. Now, all they can think about is desperately getting you back. This overwhelming fear drives them to do things they swore they'd never do. They'll reach out, they'll apologize, they'll beg, perhaps they'll send long, rambling messages explaining how they never truly appreciated you before. But now they agonizingly realize how much you truly meant. Maybe they'll even show up at your door unannounced, hoping for a second chance, a desperate flicker of hope. Whatever they do, it's motivated by one singular thing, the overwhelming, suffocating fear that they've lost you forever. But here's the liberating truth. By the time they feel that palpable fear, you're already gone. You've moved on. You've found your strength, your independence, and you simply don't need them anymore. Their fear is undeniably real, but it's simply too late. When they come crawling back, do not give them a second chance just because they're afraid. Let them face the genuine consequences of their actions. You've already moved on, and they need to learn, definitively, that you are not an option to be taken for granted. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you're already ahead of 99% of people out there, and you have proven yourself to be a true Stoic, someone who seeks depth, wisdom, and profound understanding. 10. The realization of emotional independence. This is where everything truly comes full circle. The profound realization of your own emotional independence. When you disappear, you're not just walking away from them, you're powerfully walking towards your own freedom, your own emotional clarity, your own peace. You see, in far too many relationships, we get so inextricably caught up in trying to make the other person happy, in constantly trying to prove our worth, that we entirely forget about our own fundamental needs. We forget that we inherently possess the power to choose, to walk away, to demand better for ourselves. But once you've vanished, once you've decisively reclaimed your sacred space, you begin to see things with crystal clarity. You no longer need their validation. You no longer care what they think, how they feel, or what they want from you. You've realized, deeply and profoundly, that your happiness is not, and never was, tied to them, and that, my friend, is the most powerful, liberating thing you can ever experience. This is your true emotional independence. And here's the best part, they feel it too. They realize that you're no longer the same person they once knew. You're stronger now, wiser, undeniably more confident. They can sense, with an almost primal instinct, that you've outgrown them, that you no longer need him to feel complete. This is where the tables have turned. Permanently, they're stuck in the same old, Frustrating patterns, but you've evolved. You've decisively broken free from the cyclical need for their validation. And now, their opinion truly means nothing to you. Own your emotional independence. Do not, under any circumstances, go back to the old ways. Don't give them the perverse satisfaction of thinking they still hold any control over your happiness. You've moved far beyond that, and that, truly, is your biggest win. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Your silence isn't revenge, it's evolution." They'll break when they realize you're not holding back your words. You're holding back your access, and no amount of regret, no matter how profound, will ever unlock the door they've already closed on themselves. Your silence is not punishment, it's protection. Every second you hold your silence, you're breaking the cycle of perpetually proving your worth to someone who was never truly meant to see it. Let them wonder, let them regret, let them feel your absence, because your silence is the loudest, most undeniable message you will ever send. If you're choosing your self-worth over chasing someone who never valued you, comment below, "I choose myself." And if you're ready to truly transform your silence into power, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now, because this is just the beginning of your incredible blow-up journey. Don't miss out on what's next.